All right, the year was 2008. O.J. Simpson was convicted on all charges relating to an incident that took place in Las Vegas where Simpson, along with a few accomplices, well, they entered into a hotel room. They stole multiple pieces of sports memorabilia, and they did it at gunpoint. Now, Simpson was later sentenced to a maximum of 33 years in prison, but as soon as October the 1st, O.J. Simpson will once again be a free man. Now, we want to remind you, our viewers, of O.J. Simpson's seething and violent past. In 1989, O.J. Simpson, he was charged with beating his then-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. He was ordered to undergo psychiatric treatment. The pair would divorce 3 years later amid claims that O.J. Simpson was physically and emotionally abusive. Then in 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson, she was found brutally stabbed to death along with her friend Ron Goldman outside of a home that she shared with her and O.J.'s 2 children. Now, the crime scene at the time was described as horrific, and Nicole Brown Simpson's head was nearly severed from her body. And hours later, when police went to O.J. Simpson's house, well, investigators found that his white Ford Bronco was covered in blood. The DNA tests would later link the blood to Nicole Brown Simpson, Ron Goldman, and O.J. Simpson. Bloody socks were also found at the foot of O.J. Simpson's bed. DNA testing would link those socks to Simpson and his ex-wife. Bloody shoe prints were found at the scene of the crime. Well, guess what? They matched O.J. Simpson's shoe size. Blood containing O.J. Simpson's DNA markers. Well, that was found on a back gate at the crime scene. One bloody leather glove was found near the victims, with a matching glove found behind O.J. Simpson's guest house. Now, those gloves also contained genetic markers connected to Simpson and the 2 victims. Now, because of the mountain of evidence against O.J. Simpson, well, he then became the main suspect in a huge double murder, and he was required to surrender to the police. Then on June 17, 1994, after failing to turn himself in, O.J. Simpson and a close personal friend, they led police on a long, slow speed car chase in Southern California where O.J., who was a passenger in the white Ford Bronco, purportedly was considering suicide. Ultimately, Simpson surrendered to police and was formally charged in the deaths of his ex-wife and Ron Goldman. Now, Simpson then hired high-profile lawyers who turned this trial of the century into a public circus, with all of America tuning in to see what would happen. In the end, a jury found that despite this mountain of evidence, physical evidence, blood evidence, markers, DNA, they found O.J. Simpson not guilty. And 13 years after being cleared of these murder charges, O.J. Simpson was sentenced to prison for robbery, kidnapping, assault, which led to today's parole hearing granting O.J.'s freedom. Earlier today, before the parole hearing, the Goldman family had this to say about the man they truly believe brutally murdered their loved ones. Watch this.
I think his whole history of violence, ignoring the law, no respect for the law, no remorse for virtually anything he's ever done, is an indication of who he is as a person. I don't think there's any reason to think that he's going to be a decent human being into society. His propensity is to be violent. His propensity is to go above and beyond what the law dictates he's supposed to do. Our society afforded him his freedom back in '95 when they acquitted him. I want them to be remembered that's his go-to, is violence.
And today, while speaking in front of the parole board, O.J. Simpson was a mix of emotions. At times he got angry, other times he was smiling and laughing. Here's what he had to say earlier today.
I'm not a guy that has conflicts on the street. I don't expect to have any when I leave here, but I feel that I'm much better prepared. But more so from, I think, my commitment to being a better Christian, because I thought I was a good guy. I had some problems with fidelity in my life, but I've always been a guy that pretty much got along with everybody. I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life.
All right, pretty unbelievable. Joining us now with reaction, someone who extensively covered the murder trial in the 1990s, TMZ's Harvey Levin. Harvey, welcome back. You really did. I mean, careers were actually, and some of our mutual friends, Geraldo, Greg Jarrett, others, careers were made on this case.
Yeah, they were. I got a couple of reactions here. One, the hilarious part, which is when he says that he's never really had conflicts in his life. his wife called, or ex-wife called 911 so many times she said, "I'm calling about O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record." So that's just absurd. But the bigger thing, Sean, is this. And look, I love you, but I'm going to say it. I disagree with you. You spent 2 minutes talking about the murder case, and you went through all of the evidence, and I agree with you.
I love inviting Harvey Levin on my show to beat me up. That's why we're such good friends. Go right ahead.
Okay, I apologize, but
no, go ahead.
I agree with you. To me, he is the guiltiest man I've ever seen in a murder case, and I covered this gavel to gavel. That said, he was found not guilty. Everything you just said about that murder case is why I believe O.J. Simpson should be paroled, because the judge in that kidnapping case, to me, was a renegade judge who just wanted her pound of flesh because she was pissed off that O.J. was found not guilty.
Hey, Harvey.
And she shouldn't have the right to superimpose a verdict in a murder case and pretend that that's an appropriate verdict. He shouldn't have served even 9 years for this. I mean, he just shouldn't have. And the parole board did what the parole board should have done.
Okay, the 33-year sentence. By the way, I agree with everything you just said. Why did you assume? Because I was laying out the facts. I realized on my radio show today that some of the people that work for me were 5 years old. They didn't cover this the way we did. I guess it speaks volumes about our age. I do believe it was a pound of flesh, though.
What's in that? In my office, 2 years old.
Yeah, I see the young kids you work with. It cracks me up. And they get you pretty good on your show. But in all seriousness, the evidence, you agree with me, was overwhelming and incontrovertible on the murder case, and then he was held liable in the civil trial.
Right, but Sean, look, O.J. Simpson went through 2 major criminal trials, and in both cases, justice and O.J. Simpson never really intersected. In the murder case, that was a verdict against the misdeeds of the Los Angeles Police Department, and in the kidnapping case, the judge just wanted a retake on the murder case and tried to sentence him for that and not what was before that judge. So in both cases, justice really wasn't served.
Okay, but it was an armed robbery. He did help organize this and lead this. There was danger here, and, you know, whether it's about memorabilia or not, 33 years agreed. Way too much. Retribution.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the sentence was harsh, and I don't disagree. All right, Harvey Levin, TMZ. Thank you, sir.
Okay, see you, Sean.
All right, joining us.